Kris, I've recently picked up on a pattern that I'm wondering if you've noticed as well. You do game plans with people. And so often the game plan comes down to asking the individual what they actually want. And rarely do people even know. Like specifically, like generally they know what they want. But like specifically, have you noticed this?
Most people actually don't know what they want. Sometimes at my events, I'll put people knee to knee and I'll just say, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And you hear it 100 times and finally it's like, wow, I'm really clear that I don't know what I want, but listen, there's no time like the present. Let's take advantage of it. And people don't have clarity. And this whole idea of a financial game plan, I learned 20 years ago. I could sit down with someone knee to knee and say, I'm going to put myself in your shoes and I'm going to share with you what I would do if I were you. And that's not what you should do, but it's what I would do knowing everything that I've aggregated throughout time and my financial experience on how you grow wealth. And so you take the average person, for example, I've got $100,000 right here. This is about 100 grand. And this $100,000 might be sitting in a 401k, earning 5% on the 30-year average. Might be sitting in an IRA, earning 6% on the 30-year average. Might be sitting in the S&P, earning an 8.5% 30-year average. Might be sitting equity in a home, growing at the national average rate of 4.65%. They're all single digits. And most people haven't figured out that when you stash cash in places that produce single digits, that for you to get the amount of money that you actually want at retirement, it takes lifetimes for a single digit to compound meaningfully.
Well,
and why are they doing that? Because they don't know what they want.
Well, and even that decision is more motivated by what they don't want than anything, because they don't want to sit down and do the math. Most people are like, I don't want to figure out.
It's not that they don't want to do the math also. It's that they don't even know that there is math. It's that they're also just following society's game plan. People are just generalists. They're focused on their career. They're focused on the day-to-day of their lives. They're focusing on their kids and their family. And they're not actually thinking, I wonder if this 401k is going to make me rich. In their heart, they know that's not true, but they can't pass up the free money. And I'm like, it doesn't meet the objective. It doesn't get you where you want to be. But at the same time, you're the monkey that can't release its hand from the trap holding the banana because you're like, but it's free. I'm like, if it's not enough, who cares if it's free, if it puts your money in jail and you can't get it out? Or, my CPA said that I'll save $600 in taxes this year if I lock up my money in an IRA. I'm like, is this going to get you what you want?
Well, and most people can't answer that question of what do you want? And I'm hoping listeners and viewers today will ask themselves and be like, do I really know where am I actually trying to go?
Can I tell you what I want?
Yes.
I'm going to share what I want.
Real quick, caveat. The thing that has inspired me through the years is I feel like you always know exactly what you want, and it enables you to go for it.
I'm telling anyone that's listening, if you don't know what you want, you have to pause your life. Don't go to work, call in sick, do something, take an entire day, go somewhere inspirational, and fill up a journal with what you want. And fill it up in these categories. Number 1, health. Let's not even talk about the real money equation of how much money do I need to get the lifestyle that I want. Let's just talk about health for a moment.
Yeah.
What do you really want? Because before we settle down in a core relationship, get married, attach ourselves to a significant other, most of us feel the need to want to kind of be healthy and express something because we're looking for a suitable mate and we're hoping biologically to come across maybe attractive. And then you find that person and then we let ourselves go. And so most people will let themselves go, sometimes in their 20s, sometimes their 30s, sometimes their 40s, sometimes their 50s. By the time you're in your 50s, almost everyone has let themselves go. I'm like, why are you doing that? Modern medicine is going to keep us alive well beyond 100 years. And the quality of your life is going to be hampered by all your comorbidities. So when we say, what do you want in your health? I'm daring to believe that you can have a really healthy, strong, fit, vitalitous, sexy body. Like, why not have an image that you're proud of? Why not be able to take your shirt off and not live in the fear of the judgment of other people? Why would you waste so much bandwidth on the lack of confidence? What? Because you're not willing to go to the gym and put some work in or eat nutritiously? And so it's like, well, why aren't you doing that then? Well, it's hard, or I don't have the time, or I can't get up early, or I don't want to stay up late. And I'm like, okay, again, you're telling me what you don't want. But you know what? Let's be honest. Who doesn't want a healthy, sexy body?
Everyone does.
Who doesn't want all of their organs functioning exactly the way they should? You can put me at the gym. This morning, I was 40 minutes on a max incline going 5.0. Now, by the way, I dare anyone to do that. And then check your heart rate. After 40 minutes, my heart is beating at 135 beats a minute. Barely in the fat burn zone, strong as an ox. My heart is big. I wouldn't be surprised if it's muscularly enlarged.
What is your resting heart rate? Is it like a marathon runner?
Yes, it's like beats 3 times a minute.
30, 40 when you're resting?
Yeah, and it's like, well, I've trained myself that way because the 2 greatest determinations of longevity are your VO2 levels, your cardiovascular ability, and then number 2, muscle mass. Muscle mass / muscle strength. Those are 2 and 3. And so, what kind of body do you want? Build a body that you're proud of. Build it like a trophy. Don't do it just for what other people will think of it. Do it so that you can take pride in the gift God gave you and do something good with it. So that, by the way, eventually when you do deteriorate before you die, you know that it wasn't lifestyle driven. It was just aging. And aging is beautiful when you're not messing with it, with addictions, inappropriate substance abuse in your body, alcohol, beyond normal measures, just the lack of going to the gym, just not taking care of yourself, or the food addiction, which, our obesity rates are ridiculous in this country. There's like, where's the discipline? So you should get clear on what you want with your health. And let me piss some people off.
Let's do this.
If you're fat and you tell me you love your wife or your husband, I'll tell you that you're a liar because you clearly don't love them enough to take care of your body. And you clearly don't love yourself enough to do the same. So I think that going to the gym is self-love. Eating nutritiously is self-love. And if you love yourself and you take care of your body, guess what? Your body's going to optimize. It's going to hit peak performance. You'll have the ability to go on that hike or go take a walk at the park with the kids. Or when you go travel somewhere, it doesn't have to be sitting on the tourist bus. Go use your legs, for heaven's sake, and do joyful movement. Do something great with your body. You love yoga. You love marathons. Go do something that you love. Use your body. We're such a sedentary life.
So what do you do with the whole body positive movement, Kris?
I don't even want to talk about that. I just don't believe in all of this garbage that creates a safe place for people to enjoy making themselves fat, sick, and dead. You're not going to get any respect from me. It's like, love yourself, take care of yourself. We know that's what you really want. Instead of like, well, you've offended me and this place isn't safe. And I'm like, you know what? Take care of yourself. That's what love looks like. And by the way, don't make it anyone else's business. I get that we're afraid of maybe being judged, but even, taking offense is a choice. Okay, so that's the first thing, is figure out what you want for your health. The second thing is figure out what you want for love. What do you want for love in your life? Self-love, self-nurturing, the love of that core relationship. For me, it's my wife, love with my children, love with my teams that I build and co-create with, or even down to the stranger. Love is such a powerful emotion, and someone that's been jaded, someone that's been skeptical, someone that has developed mistrust because they've been hurt. It's like, there's ways, there's therapy, there's opportunities for you to clean that up, because nothing feels better than feeling loved. And the most important love you get is the one that you feel from within. I do 40 minutes every morning on the treadmill in my own reverie, where I'm doing my own active meditation. And a part of that is delivering a message to myself every single day. As cheesy as it sounds, where I literally imagine myself standing in front of a mirror, connecting with my highest and best self, what I imagine my spirit looks like, this divine masculine, and I connect with me, and I share the message that I need to hear, so I don't need to hear it from anybody else. It's weakness to require validation from others. It's strength when you can give it to yourself, because you're the one person on the planet you can trust. I can't trust anyone else to be anything else other than who they are. And that means they're busy following their rules, not mine. That means they're busy living their life, not mine. It's not their purpose to follow all of my rules and live my life and give me everything that I need. That's my job. So it's up to you to give that to yourself. So love. So if you are blessed to be in a relationship that is loving, my question is, have you built a world where you are investing into it? Have you built a world where you know how many minutes that loved one needs for them to be on cloud 9 and then to exceed it? Or to practice spousal advocacy. I love you so much, I want what you want more than you even want it yourself, because I love you, especially when I don't want it myself. My wife loves gems and rocks, so I've made it my passion. I take her to gem shows twice a year. We were in Sao Paulo, we were in Brazil, a couple months ago, shopping for this really big stone and rock. We've gone into the mines together. I am so busy pursuing her passion as an expression of love and advocacy. And do I really give a rip about crystals? In truth, I do now, because it's an expression of love to my wife. So there's a genuine interest there. So my wife and I did a bodybuilding competition for the first time 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I did one last year. We're doing one together again in 3 weeks. And we're having fun together. I just hit 5.9% body fat. I got a little bit more to drop, like, getting all vascular and psychologically it's at that toughest time and I'm loving it. This challenge is really cool, but it's really fun because I'm doing it with friends and I'm doing it with my wife. 9 years ago when we did our first competition, her mom, that she's so nervous about her feedback from her mom because her mom is just, nervous for her daughter, wants to keep her safe, and she sees her flaunting her body on stage in front of all these people, and to her that's just the epitome of unsafe. And my wife cares very much about her family and what they think. And that ended up being a little bit of a crutch for her 9 years ago because her mom came up to her and basically gave her some negative feedback, some criticism about what she was doing. And my wife kind of went back to quote unquote her old ways. She put some weight back on and she was scared for a while to stand in her power until she learned that she couldn't be doing things for her mom. She had to do things for her. Mm-hmm. She had to learn how to love herself. And so I think that you got to get really clear on what is love and how do you actually optimize it. And that literally means, love is spelled Time. How much time are you putting into your core relationship? And you should exceed it. If you know how much time you need at the gym, you should exceed it. If you know how much, if you know how much of something you need to hit happiness and fulfillment levels, to get in abundance, you then exceed it, right? Third category is money.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this one, Kris, to hear what you want in terms of your wealth.
It's definitely changed through time.
Sure.
Like this year, the last year and a half, I think it's changed dramatically for me. In the beginning, it was, I marked success probably from more of a prideful significance perspective. I wanted to stiff it to the man. I was 26, the same year I came out of college. I quit my job. I was making 5 times more money than my very low expenses were at the time. And then my wife and I built this 10,000 square foot house on the golf course. And I thought that was a status symbol. On the one hand, there was a part of me that was like, I want this because I just want to be in my ideal environment and I want to create it from scratch, from the ground up. And we did. And there was something really beautiful about that. But if I'm honest, there was another part of me that was like, I need to prove to the world, that I'm a person to be reckoned with or that I'm successful. And none of that significance matters anymore. And so there was a part of me where I would sometimes drive a car because the type of car lit me up and made me excited. And sometimes it was because I thought that other people would think I was cool. There was some people pleaser, and a very inauthentic part of me in those younger days. Today you fast forward and financially, what I want is jets that give me teleportation access, the closest thing I can get to teleportation that hasn't been invented yet, so that I can see as much of the world in the most effective, efficient manner possible. And I want, my wife and I are in the process of building, we're doing an addition on our home. It's like a 20,000 square foot addition. It's ridiculously huge. It is a sanctuary. It is a wellness center. It is my wife and I having learned all the things that we do to create the best in us. And this retreat center is designed with spa and really amazing, pool and Zen room and my office and a 3,000 square foot gym and climbing wall and racquetball court, and it has all these amenities. It's like adding 12-car garage to the place for some toys and for some fun. And man, I could be so easily judged by that, but this time we created something that is really representative of us never needing to leave our house to get everything that we need. Because jets take us everywhere in the world. I go into the office once a week, and outside of that, we are living in our own self-created world that facilitates the greatest creation in us. And that's a really important creation to me because it's a space where I get to rejuvenate. It's weird that these days I spend, on average now, 5 hours a day pouring into my soul when other people are sleeping, and then they wake up and go to work. And I'm doing 5 hours of investment into reading, learning, exercise, connecting, meditating, spiritual work, breakthrough work. And all of these things are to build me and beast me into a better version of myself so that the operating system is upgraded for what the day is going to bring. It's so that and this is how I'm locking down bigger business deals and more things are happening. And part of it is the lifestyle that I choose and how I pour into myself. That's part of what that house represents. But I'd say the coolest thing, and there's 2 more things. I would say I'm financially probably most motivated by travel. 10 years ago, my wife and I, we were going rounds and I was in the doghouse. So for Christmas, I'm like, shoot, I got to make up some ground here. I've really disappointed this woman that I love so much. And I said, I want to do something really special for her. So I selected this project. I was going to make her this applique quilt Definitely doesn't sound very manually, but I'm just going to own it. This quilt was basically an image of our life in our future. We had been to Neuschwanstein, beautiful Disney castle in Germany, southern Germany. And there was this picture that we took outside the granite arch where you could see the most beautiful Alps mountainscape, King Ludwig's castle in the background. Our life journey is represented by, Peter Pan's floating magical ship with fairy dust, and basically put this ornate quilt together with the help of her mom. It was like a 500-hour project, middle of the night. My wife never knew about it. It took like 3 months preparing for Christmas morning for this moment. And at the very end of the project, I aggregated out of 10,000 pictures for the first decade of her life, I had to find the top 100 moments in picture form. And it took 5 hours, middle of the night, to go through all 10,000 pictures and find the top 100. By 5 a.m, I had selected the top 100 moments ever. And I started bawling because I found that 91 of the 100 were all taken when we were traveling. And back then we only traveled once a month. Now we live to travel because when we are outside of a routine, our most precious memories are made. So travel is huge for me and my family. We did the Galapagos last year. My wife and I are doing Bora Bora this year. We did, we're doing Iceland with some friends, and we're going to Japan with our children later this year. And this is all for, global schooling, really out school because our kids are all privately educated, making just priceless, precious memories with them, showing them the world versus reading about the world. And just experiencing. For me, at a very private level, travel is like my favoriteest thing. You and I have been to a number of different countries together. So that's like, for me, that's like kind of my thing. I would rather collect memories from travel than things. But I would say, Carson, probably the biggest thing that is moving my heart right now the most in my world is our foundation. Financially very, very motivated. Every morning, my wife and I envision giving $1 billion check to our foundation. We know what a $250,000 check feels like. We're learning what $1 million check looks like. And that check is supposed to keep growing. And last year, our foundation raised millions of dollars. In 3 weeks, we're going to Ukraine again. We've been 2 other times last year. We've got a trip later this year that we're vetting to Haiti. I'm going to Mexico this weekend for an orphanage where we've adopted some sex-trafficked children. And whether it's raising money or donating our own money to the humanity of some of the most damaged and hurt souls on the planet, the people who have been left behind, the people who are forgotten, the people who, where they know nobody's coming. Those are the people my wife and I look for. And our mission is to not just change lives, but save lives. And that is by far, that's our legacy play. And it's not ours, it's for the world. We're just leading the charge. And, we've got our companies on board, and we've got just a lot of beautiful donors out there that believe in our work. And we do something a little bit weird in our foundation. We will allow donors, once they're donating at a level of 100,000 and beyond, they'll actually come on mission with us. They actually get a ride on the jet, and we'll go over and do the work together. And I'll tell you that I like collecting life-changing experiences, and there are some buckets. I'm trying to collect every bucket of life-changing experience that I can. When I learned to hunt 7 years ago, I established a brand new bucket for a feeling I can't imitate or create any other way than respectfully and responsibly taking the life of an animal to feed my family. The skills, the primal reconnection, there's something about that nothing is comparable to that. Well, that's what Ukraine is like. It is a bucket that is incomparable to anything. It's not like showing up at church for a service project and painting the neighbor's, fence. You might even be at risk of laying your life aside and sacrificing ultimately for the greater good. And that's something that can't be taken lightly, but these people have been through something so atrocious. And when help isn't coming, and the NGOs have pulled out, and the government is disorganized and doesn't know what to do, and they're just trying to keep their freedom. They're just trying to fight one more day. You have this carnage, these body bags, the collateral damage of these people left behind. And that's who we go after. And I've never done anything more meaningful in my life. So building business, building real estate portfolios, building wealth, it's motivated by a lot of things, a lot of beautiful things. But for me, that's probably the ultimate.